Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I know you love this.
Hey!
Ça qui passait?
La brûlé.
I'm being so silly, guys. So, y'all, I don't know about these customers. What would we do without these customers? Where would we be without these customers? Oh my God. If you want to know what happened and how I dealt with this call, just stay tuned. Just hear your girl out. You have
Okay.
to hear your girl out. You would want to, wouldn't you? Because this is crazy. This is nonsense. And I just felt like I was being tested. I just felt like one of the people from corporate or whatever was trying to say, probably was thinking that, let's call this particular agent and see how they will handle a situation like this. And if you guys are doing that, that's just messed up. That's just messed up because y'all really got me stuck on this call because I seem to bounce back on every call that I get. But this call was just one of the challenging ones that I did not see it coming at all. Oh man. So this lady was a callback. Okay. If you're familiar with roadside assistance, then you know how the callbacks work. All right. So it was my fault. I should start reading these callbacks, but the way they're set up is that once you get them, you click on call customer. You can't see the account or anything like that unless if you click on call customer. And that's exactly what I did. So the system usually, sometimes if the system is not working well, it won't dial the number, but this time it was working, so it did dial the number. Customer calls in. So I hear it in her voice. I'm like, okay, so she's going to be a piece of cake. Yeah, right. That lady was far from being a piece of cake. So first of all, this is how the whole call started. So I just verified everything, just verified she was in a safe location. And she's like, yeah, I guess with my 3 kids. She made it known that her 3 kids was with her. Cool. I didn't hear anything in the background. So if she didn't tell me that she had 3 kids, I would have never known she had kids with her. Okay, so then I verified to make sure that she was in a safe location. She verified that. And then I just verified that, you know, what services that she needed, if she was still at the location that she mentioned to us before. She said that she was still at that same location. There's no way that she was able to move from where she was at. So I said, okay. So I just verified the address because you have to, guys, because you never know. If they say that they haven't moved and they have, and then we don't have the correct address, then it just makes the process much longer for the driver. So when he goes out there and he's not at the place where it says that he's supposed to be, the customers get really frustrated and they get crazy and stuff like that. So anyway, so then she starts explaining how she went through one process, it didn't work. Then she went through another process, it didn't work. And how she was supposed to go through this process and someone told her this and that. So I'm just sitting there, I'm just letting her talk, you know, but she's not being rude about it. She's not being nasty about it or anything. So then finally, she's like, so finally I felt like confident on this call, and I'm like, you know, I can help this lady, you know, to get her up and going and stuff like that. But the problem is that, guys, when you can help them and they can't help themselves, that's when it puts you in a messed up situation, right? So this is what happened. So I was able to, you know, assist her with finding a driver to come out to help her in her vehicle. She said that, well, would I be able to drive with the driver? Would I be able to catch a ride with the driver with my 3 kids? What do you think, ma'am? That's what I wanted to say in my head. Like, what do you think? Do you think, first of all, it's 4 of you. And you know how these tow trucks are made nowadays. They only have a 2-seater, a driver's seat and a passenger seat. So where are the rest of your 3 kids going to sit? Exactly. That's one. And then two, like, why would you want to ride with the passenger? I mean, why would you want to ride with the driver? Why would you want to do that? Like, that's gross. That's disgusting. Their trucks are dirty. They're not sanitized. And you have your 3 kids, and you are going to put your kids in a
What?
desperate situation like that. Damn. Like, maybe as a mother, I see things differently, like how I would want for my kids, but whatever. But you a whole woman. You've been sitting out there for 3 freaking hours and still you weren't able to figure out or plan nothing out on how you were going to go about handling your car situation. What's going on there, ma'am? That's what I wanted to say. So then she starts going off saying that, oh, I'm going to have a panic attack. Throughout the whole call, she's saying that she's going to have a whole panic attack. And me, I wanted to ignore that comment, but they say do not ignore comments like that. So I'm like, oh, ma'am, it's all right. It's going to be okay. We'll figure this out for you. That's what I kept saying. But then again, I was a bit frustrated with this woman because it's like the whole 3 hours that you were stranded, ma'am, you couldn't figure out a solution throughout your situation. Like, so you were planning to just sit in the car the whole night while it's freezing out there in the cold with your children and not secure a ride to take you and your kids home?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
This is her thing. She's an hour and a half away from home. Okay, call someone to come and pick you and your kids up, or get a Uber or a Lyft or something. So this is what she tells me. She was like, wait a minute, I'm just checking to see what Lyft has to say about how much it's going to charge us. So I was like, okay, no problem. So then she was like, oh, they're going to charge me $150 to come and pick me up from where I'm at and drop me home. I'm like, in my head, okay. And then she says it twice so I can say something. And I'm like, okay, ma'am, there is a fee for this tow, by the way. And she's like, what? So I have to pay for the tow and for a lift? I said, well, that's what it looks like here on my end. The driver would not be able to drive you back home. And she was like, what kind of roadside assistance is this? Aren't they supposed to make sure that the customer is well taken care of? I said, well, roadside assistance focuses more on the vehicles as well as the customer, but due to the pandemic, they no longer allow people to ride with them anymore. And she was like, well, we're over the pandemic. There's no more pandemic. I said, well, I understand that part too, ma'am, but I'm just letting you know. So just in case if the driver comes and you're not allowed to ride with him, so you are aware of this. And then that's when she gets quiet. Like, listen, I don't have time to be going back and forth with you, ma'am. You know what it is, and that's basically what it's going to be. This is not going to change. I am not going to like say, okay, ma'am, do whatever you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stay firm and keep it going. If you don't like what I have to tell you, it is what it is. But that's just basically what it is so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Like, I don't know. Like, some of these customers, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. That whole time, you should have figured something out. You should have contacted a family member or a friend to ask them for advice.
Okay.
We're not the advice line. We're roadside assistance, where we are assisting you and your vehicle. So if you can't figure out how you're going to get you and your 3 kids home, then I don't know what to tell you, ma'am. I really don't. So then she's like, okay, so basically what happens from here? I am just going to leave my car here, but the keys won't be. I said, well, ma'am, if you know that you're not going to be with the vehicle, let us know, but you must leave your keys there so the driver can have access. Well, what if somebody knows my keys? Who is going to flip and know that your keys is in the car? Unless if you tell them. Who's going to know? Unless if you leave it in the freaking ignition to make it visible. As long as you leave your keys in your car and it's visible, you're dumb. Because you're telling whoever sees your keys in your car to steal your car. Okay? So obviously I said, no, ma'am, what you can go ahead and do is put those keys under the driver's floor mat so the driver is aware that that's where you will be leaving it. So he can have access to your vehicle. So she gets quiet. She's like, oh. So I'm just going to leave my keys under the driver's floor mat. I'm like in my head, yes, dummy. Didn't I just say that? I said, yes, ma'am. And she's like, well, what type of roadside assistance is this? I'm not sure why. Like, what do I do from here? And I'm like, ma'am, once you figure that out, you can always give us a call. We're here 24 hours. Like, I'm not going to sit here back and forth to hear you having a panic attack, saying that I'm about to catch a panic attack. I'm having a panic attack. Like, I need you to woosah real quick. You have 3 kids that's counting on you, and you worried about having a panic attack. Like, I need you to get it together. You say you're in the middle of nowhere and you're freezing cold. I need you to get it together for your kids. Okay, don't worry about you because you don't matter right now. Your kids do. Your kids come first because they're counting on you. So if anything, if I was in her position, I would have called 911. I would have been like, look, I don't know what to do. You know, this is what's going on. I called roadside assistance and this is what they informed me of. What do you recommend, please? I know this is not an emergency, but my kids are cold outside. They're freezing. Please, I need some type of help. What's so hard about that? You're in the middle of nowhere. You don't have any family members that is located in the state that you live in. You have no friends. The next step should be 911. But I didn't tell her that, guys. The reason why I didn't tell her that, because I did not want to open a can of worms with this lady. I did not. I just wanted to, you know, assist her with putting in all in the information that was not filled out. And so we can get her some help. But obviously she didn't need the help. She said that she was going to give us a call back when she was able to figure out her getting a ride back home for her and her kids. Okay, which is a smart move, but you should have thought of that 3 hours ago. Like, where were you? Were you still in the middle of your panic attack or what? I don't get it. It's at that point, it wasn't even funny. It was just so sad. Like, why are you worried about yourself? You need to worry about the 3 kids that you got in the house, in a car, stranded, cold as heck. So at this point, if you ask me, she's selfish. She's worried about herself only, sounds like. She ain't worried about them kids. Because if you was worried about them kids, you would have been somewhere indoors, you know? And then, I don't know. But as I talk about this now, it's just like, how do you have a heart like that? You know, you have 2, 3 kids is freezing as heck and just waiting, and I don't know. I wonder to myself, like, did she really have those 3 kids in a car? Because I didn't hear anything. All I just heard her complaining how she's having a panic attack, and I didn't hear no kids in the background at all. Was she saying that maybe to make the driver get there faster? This is what kills me, right, with these customers. They say that they have, you know, kids in a car because they know that that's what's going to get them, well, that's what they think that's going to get them help sooner and faster. No, that doesn't make the drivers move faster. Depending on the drivers themselves, whatever situation that they're in, if they're in a neighborhood and they don't have a previous job that they're working on, cool. That's just your luck. But if they're in the neighborhood and they're working, they're going to focus on what they're doing first, and then they're going to come to your rescue. They're not going to rush because you have an infant or kids with you. No, they're going to make you wait like everybody else or anybody else. It's not a big deal for them to, like, you know, and they are so used to getting cussed out by customers. They really don't care about you know, anything like that. So she's like, oh, so I have to figure out how I'm going to get the lift. And then plus my tow is not free. And I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to have to go about that as well. And she's like, oh, is there any way that he can drop it off at a repair facility and so forth? I'm like, well, there wouldn't be any repair facilities open right now. Because let me remind you guys, she's calling in like around 11:30 p.m. and she's Eastern. So what repair facility you know that is open around that time, unless if they have a 24-hour drop-off location. And it's rare to find any of those repair facilities with a drop-off location or a drop box 24 hours. Like, you'll be lucky if the dealership that you wanted to get dropped off at has a 24-hour line to where you can drop your vehicle off at the dealership. So I informed her, I said, well, what you would have to do is you would have to contact that repair facility and let them know that your vehicle will be dropped off. And she's like, well, it's 11:30 at night. I don't think anybody's going to answer. Ma'am, you just answered your question. You just answered your question. Common sense is finally kicking in for you. Isn't that correct? I know, guys, I'm not trying to say that, you know, a lot of people don't have the brains. They're not as smart as others. And a lot of people don't have common sense. And we are here to help each other out and not make fun. But by the end of the day, it's like, you know these things. Why aren't you doing them? You know this. Why do you have to wait until somebody else tells you this when you know this already? Like, what? It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm being pranked. With some of these calls that I get, guys, I honestly be feeling like I'm getting pranked. Because there's no way in heaven, no way in hell where I get calls like these. It's crazy. And that's the funny thing about roadside assistance, which I like, because you never know what you're going to get. You never know. You just go along with it and just pray that work is not so hard, and you just, I don't know, like, you just enjoy what it is for that time being, because, oh my God. Oh my God. Dang, time is flying, huh? No waste of time. But yeah, y'all, I just hope that, you know, and I was saying that as soon as she hung up with me, I said, I hope this lady does not get me again, and I hope I don't get her again, because at this point, I would just be so blunt with this lady that she won't even see it coming. Because there's no way in hell will you be that slow to not figure this out. Even with the brain freeze. Even with the brain freeze, you'll still be able to figure something out. And yo, I just don't know. I just don't know. Some mothers are fit to be mothers and some mothers aren't. There's just like, why were you selected to be a mother? Oh, man. But anyways, y'all, that was story time. That's what it was. And let me know how you would have handled the situation. Like, what would you say to this lady? Like if she was on your end, what advice would you give her? You know, and how would you handle it? Because the way I did was, I was even thankful that she said that she was going to give a call back until she figured this out, because she said she wanted to figure out the lift part. And then once she gets the lift part situation, she'll give us a call back to worry about her car. Bravo. Bravo. Get off my line, lady. I don't care what you do, but please, I'm tired of talking to you, because right now you're very frustrating to talk to because you're not getting it. What you're trying to do is like, it's not making sense. It's annoying. So that's basically what it is. So yeah. So if you got this far in this video and you did not yet like, comment, and subscribe, go ahead and do that. And I will see you on the next video. And welcome to my new subbies. Bye.